Now, we're always desperate to chat to the lucky few who have donned the famous red jersey at Old Trafford. So I'm delighted to say we're now joined by former Man United and Premier League striker Fraizer Campbell. Victor, listen, good to see you, bro. I wish it was under better circumstances for our team. I really do.
Yeah.
Listen, you've played for both United and Spurs. I mean, right now, who's the more attractive proposition? I'll start with that. Who would you rather play for now?
Yeah, like you said, both teams not living up to expectations, and it just seems like, especially with United, one bad result after the other. You look like you're turning a corner with a win or a positive performance, and then the week after you're just back to square one again, and it's getting increasingly boring.
It's not great. It really isn't. And our biggest problem, of course, is scoring goals. And as a goal scorer yourself, I wanted to ask you in particular about Rasmus Hojlund and Joshua Zirkzee. There's clear deficiencies in their game. They're both young. They've got a lot to work on. If we start with Rasmus Hojlund, are you seeing enough improvement from him in his own personal games? And how much of the type of tough spell that he's going through is due to the fact that chances may not be created, that the team may not play to his strengths? What sort of fundamentals do you think he needs to keep working on? What do you see when you watch him?
I think, you look at him as a player as a whole, he's got potential to do really well. He's quick, he's strong, he's enthusiastic, and he looks like he's tried to take everything on board from, the staff and the manager from the sidelines. But I think at the minute it's difficult. Over the years, when you've got a young striker in the team, he's always had at least one or two veteran strikers in and around the changing room, that can lighten the load a little bit. They're used to the pressure. They'd be expected to score all the goals, and he can just focus on himself, his development a little bit more. But as it stands, it's him and Zirkzee as the two recognised centre forwards of the club, and both young, inexperienced in the Premier League, and there's a lot of pressure around him. So I feel sorry for him, if in all honesty. They're playing a new system for the lads, especially Hojlund. He's a type of player that depends on those in and around him getting in good spots and finding his runs and being in and around the game. But we've got players, Garnacho and Ahmad, two great wingers that are not really playing on the wing anymore. They're having to adapt their positions. So there's a lot of adaptations in and around the squad, which is, sometimes when you got five at the back, we look really solid. We look like we're not going to concede. But then that takes away from our firepower going forward. And I don't think we've quite got the balance of being solid at the back and being able to, get forward up the pitch and get our players to their strengths in the best positions and creating problems for opposition. So we're stuck at the minute, and it's, like I said, we take one step forward and it seems like we take two steps back.
Yeah, absolutely. And just with Zirkzee, do you see him as a 9? I mean, he was brought in as a striker, clearly not a high-volume goal scorer, but you see that game against Spurs when he sort of played in the right 10. It looked to me like you're starting to see something from him just off the front, driving with the ball, taking a nice touch, linking the play, making the ball stick, which has been a struggle. But what do you think his best position is, Joshua Zirkzee?
I think he said it himself. He's like a 9.5, and he's like a 10.
9.5. That's what. That's what it's got to in modern day football. Was it 9.5 when you was playing 9.5?
Nah, there was a big man and a little man. The big man and the little one ran round him. But games, it's different now. But like I said, he has shown glimpses of what he's about. He's big lad, strong lad. He holds the ball up well, and he's quite tidy with his feet. But like I said, when you're a team full of no one's got massive amounts of confidence, results are not going for you. I think going to Man United and actually putting that shirt on and feeling expectation of the fans, feeling expectations of the media is a whole different ball game to looking from the outside. So they'll be feeling it. But like I said, the young lads, ideally they could have done with someone to lean on and help them, give them some guidance, but they don't have it in the squad, so they're having to fend for themselves. And hopefully it turns out all right for them, because like I said, they're both talented young footballers, but I don't think we're seeing the best out of them because everyone around them, they're not feeling the best. And there's always stuff going on at Man United, and it's like I said before, it's really tiring to read different stories about not just the stuff going on the pitch, but all the stuff in the background.
Fraizer, you mentioned there about how players are having to change, their positions. You've got Ahmad, who was a winger, who's now, he's a left wing back at times, right wing back, sorry. Do you, in your experience, have you ever been in situations where you've had to play in a different formation or a different style? Has it been tough? Do you think that we need to give these players a bit more grace for how much they need to adapt? Or do you look at it and kind of think, well, it shouldn't actually be this difficult to switch things up?
It is difficult. If you're an out-and-out striker, I played right wing, I played left wing, I played up front, and I even once played centre mid, which was a bit of a shock to the Neil Warnock must have seen something in me that I didn't think I had. But yeah, it is difficult. But if your team's doing well and the manager asks you to drop into a position that's not yours, it makes a world of difference. But when the team's struggling, maybe if you're struggling with confidence, your performance is not being as high as you'd like them, and then you're getting asked to play out of position in a team that's not doing well, it can be really tough. It can be really tough, but you've got to hope the leaders in the dressing room, the change room, keep you on track, and everyone sticks together and tries to drag each other through like terrible performances or bad times. But it does take effect on you if you're playing out of position and it's not going great.
Fraizer, for yourself, I know you spent time around the Manchester United first team, in particular when you was a teenager, with some stellar names. You're talking Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, etc. But just a few decent players along the way. But you look at the United's bench at the moment against Spurs with a lot of teenagers on there. What sort of feelings do you think they would have, considering United are a poor team right now? How apprehensive would they be? How nervous would they be? Would they just be dying to get on and just try and make an impact because the team's so poor they see an opportunity? Or do you think they're like, I don't know if I'm up for this, to be thrown in the deep end in such a tough environment?
No, I think you touched on it a little bit before. The 18s have won literally everything they were involved in last season. And I remember the first time I got called to sit on the bench, I couldn't care less if it was 12-0. That's the moment you've worked.
Like you just can't believe it that you're there, yeah.
And yeah, you've worked really hard. You've tirelessly to get to that point. So I had mixed feelings about the bench. I looked at the bench and I just thought, if it's not going well, where we're looking to. But then on the other side of that is them 8 kids that were on the bench, they've got absolutely nothing to lose. They've got no fear. They're on the back of successful seasons and they're getting a chance to do something they've always dreamed of. And they must have the ability. They've done well to be selected on the bench. So give them a chance, and not just a couple minutes. That's you do that when you're winning 6-0 just to give them a little run out, but give them a chance to affect the game. We always say, the kids are fearless. They come on. They don't fear anyone. They don't feel the gravity of the situation of the club. They're just there. They're making the debut for the boyhood club or whatever, and they want to go out and impress. So it's really good to see. It's always great to see, obviously, especially being an ex-academy graduate, that there's still kids coming through, and hopefully you get your next Marcus Rashford, Kobe Mainoo, and all these guys in one of them players. But they need to be given a chance, and I think the way it is at the minute with all the injuries and the bad form, I don't think you've got anything to lose by giving some of these youngsters a chance.
Speaking of a chance then, Chido Obi, he's been talked about a lot since arriving from Arsenal. You look at under 18 level, I mean, it's goals galore, over 30 odd goals last year in less games. Brought in now to the first team, did get off the bench, yes, albeit for 3 minutes, I think we all agree, not long enough. Next game against Everton, Goodison Park. Should he be given a chance? Maybe not to start, I don't know, but should we now be looking at, we're not scoring goals anyway, give this kid in particular a chance? And what have you made of him and how excited are you by him?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk of him. Like you said, a lot of goal scoring. I think at the minute, United seem to be attracting a lot of youngsters from around the country to come play there, which is, it's great from the history of the club. That's what they've always done. But there's no point in having the academy if you're not going to give these players the opportunities and the chances. And like you said, we're not scoring many goals, and he can score goals. So it'd be, for me, I'd love to see him get half an hour or something like that in the game, just to show what he's about, just something different. The opposition probably won't know a great deal about him. He'll be enthusiastic, and you know, he might give us that extra spark that we need to win something, to win a game of football. But yeah, it's always exciting to see youngsters coming through. But hopefully he gets a chance and yeah, can make a difference.
Fraizer, listen, thank you very much for joining us, man. We really, really appreciate it. And hopefully we get you in the studio very, very soon as well, and you can come and chop it up with us as well.
Listen, I've just been playing with dolls for the last 2 hours. It's half time, so can't wait.
We'll give it an excuse to get out of that then. We'll give it an excuse to get out of that. See you soon, mate. See you soon.
Well, thank you.